Um, well, Sam, Arkansas's had a lot of really close losses against A&M in this recent series. You were on the staff for some of those. What are your memories of those games, and maybe, I don't know, the frustration or disappointment you remember about those?
Well, I just remember the last two. I mean, I remember when Johnny Manziel came in here and he was running all over the place. And then we sent it to Dallas, and I remember the two games. I think both of them went into overtime, if I'm correct, or I think we were ahead most of the game in both those and then got beat late. I believe it was both in overtime, but it was a great atmosphere in Mr. Jones's stadium, and I've been to College Station before, but been a while, so I know they have a great place over there. But just remember the disappointment of losing those two close games.
Scotty?
Hey, Coach, aside from maybe getting some guys healthy last week, what's something you came out of the open week, pleased that you guys were able to get done?
I just thought we had really good mental work, mental preparation on A&M, on our game plan, on what we're going to try to get accomplished. I really like the plan on all three sides of the ball and all three different areas of the game, and went back and reviewed it again, and I'm real happy with the plan that we have, and we'll just have to. We're going to start a regular week here now, and have a Monday practice and those things. So we'll see it a little bit more in action with some pads on today.
Tom?
What kind of characteristics do you see out of Texas A&M that maybe, and how often do you guys butt heads with them in recruiting as well?
Well, location-wise, A&M would recruit a lot of the same players that we do, or vice versa, however you want to say it. Obviously, they have great facilities and a very fine football staff, and so we had to recruit against them, obviously, quite often. And they're a physical football team on both sides of the ball. They're an SEC football team on the offensive and defensive lines. Very big, very powerful, fast. Have a lot of returning starters on the offensive side of the ball on the O-line. And they've got a great back in Spiller, who is also a very physical guy. When you look at him and watch him play, you see a big, physical SEC-type football team.
Hutch?
Sam, I'm curious, when you have a guy go down with an injury and their replacement comes in and plays really well, how do you handle it in general when the injured guy comes back? I mean, do they get their spot back? Is it case by case? I mean, how do you handle that kind of situation?
Oh, you just let them both rep, and then you have to make a decision. It's a good problem to have, but you certainly want to give opportunity to both individuals to have a chance to start, have a chance to go out there. The starting part, I think, means more to the kids than it does to the coaches, obviously. We just want to be able to play the two guys, that's been playing well. But starting means more, I think, to a player than it does to a coach. But we certainly know that we have different guys that have different values, and the guy that's earned the playing time from coming off the bench because of an injury or something like that, we certainly will respect that, what he's done in the games too.
Nate?
How much are these 2 weeks going to make for Rakeem Boyd as far as getting his game back, and also just kind of the young quarterbacks and young running backs? Do you see any of them kind of developing during these 2 weeks?
Well, for Rakeem, I expect him to be full go, and he'll be ready to play, I believe, against A&M. And the young running backs, Dominic Johnson, he was able to get several carries last week along with Spivey. And quarterback-wise, we're still trying to bring Malik on, along with KJ. You know, both of them's young. And so we're still trying to bring those guys along. We're happy with the progress they've made.
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering how much practice this week is like a review of last week. I know you guys didn't ever use pads, or full pads, but is you treat last week like a game week and then this week kind of like review of that, or is it just kind of picking here and there?
Last week, we treated it as A&M basic game plan. So we tried to introduce all those things. The introduction actually for A&M will be today. What we decided was that we were going to make this into a regular week once we got here. A lot of times you would go, today's practice would be a Tuesday practice, and then, you know, you'd have 2 Thursdays at the end of the week where, you know, you lighten up a little bit on the guys and all that. But we decided we like our preparation that we've been having. So we're basically use those 3 days as base game plan introduction. Today we will introduce everything on Texas A&M, and we will have a regular Monday practice. Then it'll go to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we at this point in time, Trey, we are back in game week mode, regular game week mode that we've had over the last 3 weeks.
Nikki.
Hey, Coach. Kellen Mond hasn't been sacked very many times this season. What do you see from the Aggie offensive line, or is it more of Kellen Mond making sure he's staying clean himself?
I think it's a little bit of both, Nikki. He has a really good offensive line in front of him, the best one I've seen in a while at A&M. So they're protecting him well. But he's still Kellen Mond. You know, he can get out of problems. And he's staying in the pocket better than I've ever seen him, and he's making plays. And I think he's playing really well. He's comfortable back there. I think he's getting rid of the ball faster than maybe he has in the past. I just think he's a lot better quarterback than he's ever been, just obviously with reps and years, but also give that offensive line a lot of credit. So a little bit of both, but a lot more this year of throwing the ball a little faster.
Terry.
Coach Pittman, how do you go about getting the running game or your running game revved up a little bit more than it has been in the past? Yeah, with Rakeem being back, is that a big part of it?
I don't know. I mean, we just have to continue to practice and get better. And, you know, we've been trying, you know, so, you know, we may need to, and certainly we have enough runs and all those things. We just have to get better. Our backs have to be better. Our line has to be better. Our tight end have to be better. Wideouts have to get to the safeties better. I mean, if you get to have a running game, you have to have all 10 guys in there getting after it, and everybody on our team has to get better. Our backs have to break tackles. I mean, that's part of being a good back. So all those things we have to continue to work on.
Jordan.
Hey, Coach, at this point in the season, what's the one thing or the couple areas that you really want to see improve moving forward?
Well, in special teams, I want to get a big play for us in special teams, and I want to make sure that the block punts and things of that nature and kicking the ball out of bounds on the kickoff is a thing of the past. Those things have to happen. But on a positive note, we need to we need to get some yards in punt return game. We need to get some yards in the kickoff game when allowed. You know, a lot of times kickers are kicking it out, but that's one of them there. I think we just hit on another spot is we have to be a better rushing football team. And on defense, you know, when people get big on us, we have to be able to stop the run whenever we want to. And those are probably the three aspects. I know you asked for two, but that's probably the three things that we're really concentrating on.
Bob?
Hey, Sam, Colin Jackson tweeted a couple days ago, surgery went great. See y'all next year. So my keen reporting instincts tell me he probably had surgery. Could you fill us in on his situation?
Well, you haven't seen him, so obviously he's been hurt. He had some surgery. He's going to be fine. It is a season-ending surgery, but he's fine. He's doing well, and so we're happy for that.
Tom?
Last we saw Texas A&M, there was a huge crowd at Kyle Field for that Florida game. I'm wondering, what are you expecting going in there? Are you guys going to work inside some this week and crank up the volume?
We expect at least 50,000 people probably, and we are cranking up the volume, and we are going inside today. As far as past that, I don't know, but we can still crank up the volume outside as well. But we're going to go inside today and crank it up.
Trey Biddy?
Yeah, Coach, I was just curious about the overall health of the team. How do you think things went during the bye, and you think you'll be as healthy as you've been since maybe week one or so?
We will be. However, I don't know that we're, we still have a couple of guys that are still on the iffy, maybe they'll be ready, but we're certainly, besides the guys that had season-ending injuries, Trey, we're certainly going to be as healthy as we've been since the first game.
Tyler?
Well, Tom kind of took some of this, but this game has been played in Dallas since 2014. No one on this team has played at College Station, but you've been there. Just what do you tell them going into this game at Kyle Field?
That's a neat stadium. I mean, it's a huge stadium. Obviously it won't be packed like normally they do down there, but it's a great venue, a great opportunity, and we're excited to go down there and be a part of that day. But in the SEC, most teams have really cool stadiums, and I think theirs is a really neat place to play.
Hutch?
Is Dorian Gerald one of those iffy guys you mentioned, or do you still expect him back this year? What's the latest on Dorian?
No, he's one of them. He's definitely one of them. Like I said before, I don't know what interview. I had a lot of them last week, but we don't try to lie to y'all about injuries. We don't know. I mean, like Dorian Gerald, I would love to have him back on Saturday, but it's Monday. We'll see how he looks today, but we just don't know. But certainly we hope that we have him back.
Nate?
Sam, just kind of defensively, what kind of problems does A&M present?
They're big. Their front guys are quick. They plug a lot of linebackers. They're not going to sit there and be stagnant. If they think you're a big zone team, they're going to twist on you. If they think you're a gap scheme, then they're going to slant and angle. It just depends on what their game plan coming is, but they're very, very physical, very big, and very aggressive at safeties. I mean, very aggressive. Their safeties are almost like outside, inside linebackers coming down to the ball. So they've got them playing really well and playing with a lot of confidence. You can just feel it watching tape on them, and they've really been doing a good job. But they're a big and physical team that can run.
Bob?
Sam, you guys have a lot of players, key players from Texas on both sides of the ball that are playing pretty well. What do you think going down to Texas means to those guys?
You know, I really don't know. I would assume that it'd be exciting for them, you know, especially if maybe A&M didn't offer them a scholarship or something. I think they'd want, you know, maybe it's like anything, you know, you have something to prove or something of that nature. But I don't know. I would imagine maybe mom and dad can get there a little easier, some things of that nature. Obviously, when your family's in the stands, you tend to play a little bit better, a little harder, things of those nature. So I think they're probably really looking forward to going down there and playing them.
Tom?
Sam, as you've heard from fans in your previous stint here and since you've come back, where does the A&M rivalry rank to you and to them in what you've heard, and also for you? They've won every game since Arkansas, since they've joined the SEC. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think they must have played a lot better than us in every game that they beat us in. I would assume that's probably a pretty good record, 100%. I think that if I was guessing, I'd say A&M's probably 2 in the list of rivalries behind Texas, I would assume. I don't know, but that's kind of the feel you get. And I can't remember the other part of the question. I'm sorry.
Oh, I guess for you personally, what this A&M series, how big it is for you?
It's not any, I mean, I wish I could say something different, but it's not any different than playing whomever else we play in the SEC. To me, we're trying to win the football game, and doesn't matter the team. Would I feel better if we beat A&M versus Ole Miss? Not at all. I hate to say that, but I'm just trying to get our team ready to win every one of them, get them prepared as well as we possibly can. But A&M's got a good team, so it would be fun if we did win, you know, but it's kind of another game, honestly.
Hutch?
Sam, you mentioned last week being able to kind of move the guys around in the secondary to get your best 5 out there. Is Jerry Jacobs, if you got Monteric Brown healthy and obviously Hudson Clark, is Jerry Jacobs a guy that is versatile enough to play, you know, different spots in the secondary?
Well, he certainly would be. Jerry Jacobs has opted out, so he's no longer on the football team.
Last one, Dre Biddy.
Yeah, Coach. It seems like half these games you guys have played have some kind of personal relationship, whether it's you and Kirby or Felipe, Florida, Barry, and Missouri. Is there any kind of connections that you have with maybe a coach on the Texas A&M roster or somebody you coached with, anything like that maybe we're not aware of?
No, I know Jimbo, Coach Fisher, you know, had several different conversations with him. And actually, I've texted back and forth with him on some games this year, and he's done that with me. Just a really fine person and a heck of a football coach. I'd have to look down their roster. Obviously, if I had to look down their coaching roster, then that means that, you know, I don't have a history with many of them. So I'm sure when I get there, I'll know a bunch of guys on their staff, but not really a close relationship with many of the folks on A&M's fine staff.
All right, that's going to wrap us up. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.